Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore, and we are live. Thanks to everybody who got here on time. You beat me. Some of you were waiting before me. I love you guys. I see you guys. You guys are amazing. So thanks for being here at Popcorn Planet. Daily morning news every day, weekday at around 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's Florida time for me. And I wanted to start today's show, as we already did our hellos. I clip the main portion of the show for those of you that are new. I always clip the main topic of the event. That way, if you want to see the full members-only replays, just hit that join button. You can always catch it in the members-only playlist, which is on the Popcorn Planet channel page. Just scroll down, you'll find it. You can always catch our replays if you missed them later in the day. Usually takes a couple hours for it to process, but stay tuned and watch it. Now, I want to get today's main topic. I noticed a lot of stuff happening with Alec Baldwin over the weekend. In fact, Alec Baldwin, Hilaria Baldwin, who some people have had some issues with her, whether she's a phony or not. I don't want to get into all that nonsense. Who cares? She's supporting her husband, as she should, and she's worried he's going to have PTSD after this, says TMZ. And look, he may. Who knows? This is a tragedy. What happened? I can't imagine feeling responsible for that. I do feel for him. However, as we've talked about with Christopher Melcher, a lawyer on the show, it really just depends how involved he was as a producer on this show. So what the interesting new information that has dropped since over the weekend was this. Alec Baldwin has now since spoken, which he wasn't supposed to do, but he couldn't help himself because the paparazzi were being jerks and came forward and sort of harassed him to speak. And so we are going to go over that footage here as you want to talk to the paparazzi, the full clip that we have here, as well as the armorer. The armorer, Hannah Gutierrez Reed, now is lawyered up, and she's blaming the producers. She's using a blame game to shift the blame elsewhere, saying, well, it was unsafe. So I don't know where those rounds came from. Girl, that excuse ain't going to work very long because you're responsible for every weapon and bullet on that set. I don't know what on earth you're trying to do here, but this defense is frustrating. We're going to get through both points. So let's first start with Alec Baldwin, though, because Alec Baldwin did comment over the weekend. Apparently, he was on vacation, and the paparazzi were hounding him so much that he did pull over, and this is what happened.
Let's go.
I will.
What do you want to know?
All right, Alec, what's the current state of what's going on with the case?
I'm not allowed to make any comments because it's an ongoing investigation. I've been ordered by the Sheriff's Department in Santa Fe. I can't answer any questions about the investigation. I can't. It's an active investigation in terms of a woman dying. She was my friend. She was my friend. The day I arrived in Santa Fe to start shooting, I took her to dinner with Joel, the director. We were a very, very, well-oiled crew shooting a film together, and then this horrible event happened. Now, I've been told multiple times, don't make any comments about the ongoing investigation. And I can't. That's it.
What other questions? So we're going to watch it all, but there's two things I want to point out. I feel for him. I genuinely feel for him. And this moment about she was a friend.
Active investigation in terms of a woman dying. She was my friend. She was my friend. The day I arrived in Santa Fe to start shooting, I took her to dinner with Joel, the director. We were a very, very,
Now, I wanted to comment on that. He's like screaming at her. Excuse me, I'm talking, ma'am. I just really rubbed me the wrong way. I mean, I understand he's upset. I understand this is a lot to go through. And did she need to like get up in his face like that? I don't know. There's an intensity on both of their ends there that was just like weird. Excuse me, get out of my face. I'm going to talk. And it happens again. He shushes that wife twice. They were both recording on their phones, just for the record, too. That's why they're holding. And a lot of celebrities wisely do that because the paparazzi try and take things out of context or elsewhere and do it. So, look, I'm here to give you my 2 cents. I feel for him. I genuinely do feel for him. I know a lot of people dislike him because of politics. I think that's stupid. It's not fair. That's not why we should have feelings on this case. Who cares? A human being was lost. A mother who had children. I guess a child, but still, it's such a tragedy. Now, the question that, to me, all of this comes about is, how responsible was Alec? That's really what this is about. How responsible was he responsible for this in that he knew that there were multiple discharges? He knew that the crew was all exiting. He knew it was an unsafe set. All those things are incredibly important to figure out because do I believe he did this with intent? No. But as a producer on charge of a set, If the buck stops with them, and if he knew of certain elements and things that were happening to save a few bucks, well, then my opinion on him changes. Until then, I feel for him. I feel for like it wasn't his responsibility. He's entrusting his crew. He's showing up. He's not an expert. Granted, even as Christopher Melcher said, he should know better. He's done this a lot longer than most. He should know better. However, if he's told this is cold, he should be allowed to trust the experts that are giving him the cold piece. You know what I'm saying? Like that, I do believe that. Now, how much more did he know about the unsafe practice on the set, et cetera? And in seeing his sort of behavior here with even his own wife, he's angry. He's often angry. We've seen him angry a lot. I don't know what to believe. I don't know, but I find it hard to believe he did this with intent. So we'll find out. But I do feel for him. He looks very disheveled and frustrated and sad, as anyone would be, knowing what you just did to someone's mom. That's going to be punishment for him for the rest of his life. But I don't know. There's a lot of like overcompensating here. I took her to dinner with the director. That doesn't mean you're friends. You do that all the time on a set. A DP and a director are like going to be in charge of this movie, and you got to set your visions on top. We should not applaud you for taking them out to dinner, Alec. It's again why he shouldn't be talking right now, because we're going to judge and say whatever he thinks. And I see comments saying too, it just feels a little bit like, dude, if she was my friend. She was my friend enough. I can't talk about it. Can you guys please leave me alone now? I'd have been like, respect, cool, but he keeps on going. Why?
Very, well-oiled crew shooting a film together, and then this horrible event happened. Now, I've been told multiple times.
He did say we were a well-oiled crew before any of this happened. That's not true, according to multiple crew parts. I knew a few people I've talked to now, and someone else who knew somebody was almost on that department, in the camera department, and it was a mess. This was not a well-oiled crew. Now, that may point to evidence that, again, Alec had no idea what was happening on set, and sometimes the producers don't. So, if that's the case, then I don't blame him. If he's really this ignorant and blasé, like, yeah, no, it was a great set. There were no problems. It was a well-oiled machine. If that's really what he thought, then maybe he really didn't know. And in which case, then this was a smart thing to say, because he was clearly out of the loop. And to him, it seemed like it was all organized because he was showing up and they were treating him well and not anyone else. And honestly, that happens on set a lot. They treat the talent, the most importantly, and everyone else below the line, they don't give a shit about. Is often what happens on these low budget productions. Now, hopefully he steps up and learns to say, to be more attuned to his sets, to know, and armors and everything else as he moves on, if he's able to.
Don't make any comments about the ongoing investigation, and I can't.
But you are. You're doing it right now. You're literally making comments about the investigation. You took her out to dinner. You did this. It was a well-oiled machine. These are conversations about the investigation that you are now talking out loud about. Now, the reasons, I feel for him on the reasons, and he's going to talk about that soon, but now you've given all the paparazzi, all of us, news outlets, everybody, this is on CBS News, this is even on TMZ, this is news. You are now a huge case, this is a huge deal, and anytime you open your mouth, it can be used against you in a court of law and with the paparazzi. So, again, why did he need to do this? Well, we'll get there in a second, because his kids are crying in the car, so he's told the paparazzi, and apparently I guess that did get him to stop. And he just made it clear, like, enough already. I can't talk about it. What do you want me to freaking say? I can't tell you anything. Why do you keep following me, trying to get me to say something? And on that, he's right. Why do we do that? These paparazzis are awful. Like, if you want to wait at an event or something and try and, hey, hound him or whatever, fine. But the paparazzi trailing him, it's not cool. It's not cool.
I can't. That's it.
You met
What
with,
are the questions that you have other than that?
You met with the I'm afraid I forget her name in a moment, but you met with her family.
You forget. You met with I forget her name. Now Alec's gonna nail him for this.
Helena.
Yes,
her
I
name
met
is
with her
Helena. If you're spending this much time waiting for us, you should
don't know
her
her
name.
name?
Her name is Helena.
Helena Hutchins. I met with her husband Matthew and her son. Yeah, that's right.
And how did that meeting go?
Like that's how scummy these paparazzi. I want you to hear this paparazzi again, because Alec just schooled him. And in most clips, they don't show you this part. They don't show you how ignorant and how just awful these paparazzi are. Oh, you met with I forget her name.
I'm afraid I forget her name in a moment, but you met with her family.
Helena.
Yes,
her
I
name
met
is
with her
Helena. If you're spending this much time waiting for us, you should
don't
know
know
her
her
name.
name?
Her name is Helena.
Helena Hutchins. I met with her husband Matthew and her son. Yeah, that's right.
And how did that meeting go?
I wouldn't know how to characterize it. They're mortified.
You guys, you know what? No details.
But do me a favor. I'm gonna answer the question.
Jesus. Oh, God, so awkward. It's so awkward. And the wife just, I mean, look, I applaud that they're supporting each other. And they're hot. It's hot. I'm sure I've been there. But the cameras are rolling, and it looks terrible. It just looks terrible. They're all talking. Honey, shut up. Shut up, honey. I got it, honey. Shut up, okay? I already told you to shut up once. Don't make me shut up again. It's so weird. But I understand why she's upset. But it's like it just looks bad because now he's yelling at her, he's yelling at everybody, and you don't want to see him yelling at anybody. Do you know what I mean? It just looks bad. It's exactly why you don't say anything, especially both of them out with cameras screaming at the press. I appreciate her support of her man. I really do, actually. Good for her. She's got his back, and I thank you. Couple support each other because I don't believe he did this intentionally at all. I don't. But it looks bad, and now he's got to shut her up, which may have been justified. And she wants to yell at, which also may have been justified. But I'm just saying, from an optic standpoint, now they're like yelling at each other in public, which just looks stupid. Is all I'm saying.
Well, I appreciate that he was probably very.
And yes, because he has a history of berating his kids, he does, and I'm not even trying to judge him for it right now. But it's not a good look. It's not a good look when all the spotlight's on you. It's like, and I hope the wife sees this and as supportive as she's being, do it separate. If she wants to yell at the paparazzi separately on her own, great. But when Alec's there doing it, and Alex made the decision to do it, let him do it. Back off. Let him do it. And then you can yell at him later in the car privately, is what my 2 cents are. Take that as you will. But I just don't. Good on him. He was a calmer in the second one because he caught himself. Because I get why she's pissed too. There's kids in the car who are pissed at them, and she has every right to be pissed. But you guys get what I'm saying? It's not a good look right now. You need to look like a calm, collected, sad person.
Do me a favor. I'm gonna answer the question.
Well, I appreciate that he was probably very upset.
The guy is overwhelmed with grief. This is something that there are incidental accidents on film sets.
Now this is where he's going to get himself in trouble, because this is talking about the investigation, and he's talking about accidents on set. And I don't know why he's doing this, to be perfectly honest. He said what he needed to say. Move on. I can't answer it. Done. But now he's going to talk for another minute or two about this accident. So listen.
From time to time, but nothing like this. This is a 1 in a trillion episode. It's a 1 in a trillion event. And so he is in shock. He has a 9-year-old son. We are in constant contact with him because we're very worried about his family and his kid. And as I said, we're eagerly awaiting for the Sheriff's Department to tell us what their investigation has yielded. What else do you have?
I love that too. I love that I got to give him respect here. And I'm starting to stop and give you commentary because that's what we do here. If you don't like my commentary, oh well, that's what we have conversation and comments for. Just be respectful. But I love he's like, all right, now I said it. Now he's not being afraid to answer the questions. He did, and good for him. He answered it. Yeah, he's heartbroken. What do you want me to do? He's just making them sound like idiots because he's not giving them nothing. He's giving them something. And now he's like, now what? Okay, are you done? Did I give you what you wanted? Can you go away? It is a smart tactic as long as he's calm and collected. And when he does that, it works beautifully. But it's obviously this is a hot topic, and I can't even imagine handling it with as much right now calmness that he has. I probably couldn't do it. I'd be just a mess.
Do you ever work on another film set that involves firearms of that nature?
I couldn't answer that question. I really don't have any. I have no sense of it at all. I do know that an ongoing effort to limit the use of firearms on film sets is something I'm extremely interested in. Where are you? But remember something that I think is important, and that is how many bullets have been fired in films and TV shows in the last 75 years? This is America. How many bullets have gone off in movies and on TV sets before? How many billions in the last 75 years? And nearly all of it without incident.
Hard to tell because the wind, but billions have gone off without incident. He's just like, now he's doing defense of like, guys, come on. It was just one bullet. We've done this for billions of years. This defense is problematic for me. And again, I wish he would have shut up. This defense is problematic to me because they don't happen because their sets were organized, Alec. They don't happen because there's protocols that don't go past. They don't happen because the actor verifies and wants to see it unloaded before he even uses it, which you didn't do. So this ignorance of him of like, oh, billions, and it's never happened. You know, it's not, it's not an Alec. It's the fact that Alec thinks this was just a blatant accident is where things get really scary for me, because from everything we've been told, this is not an accident. This was completely preventable if your crew wasn't an idiot. So you saying it's a well-oiled machine, it was just an accident, it's happened billions of times. This is the problem. So now you're seeing a defense that's making me, it's giving, and that's why I'm giving you a little bit more of a harsh reaction to Alec, because I respected it, I feel for him, but now I'm starting to be like, dude, come on, man, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. You are responsible for this, and there's a lot more happening behind the scenes, and you better just shut up and hope that you get to get away with this, because there's potential charges on the line for you, because you should have known better. You are not some amateur who's never handled pistols before. Give me a break, Alec. You've been in this industry plenty long enough to know you should have checked those chambers. Someone should have verified. You just going to tell the guy after multiple discharges have been done? Oh yeah, cool. All right, awesome. So we do. It doesn't double check. Know what's in your hand. These are things that you should have done, and you're now telling us, well, guys, this is America and guns. We've had billions of them without incident.
So what has to happen now is we have to realize that when it does go wrong, and it's this horrible, catastrophic thing, some new measures have to take place. Rubber guns, plastic guns, no real operants on the scene.
This annoys me. So I don't disagree, and Lewis said this, and I wish Lewis, if you're watching, join in, because Lewis made a point on this, and he's spot on now. And now seeing Alec try to play defense on this, we need plastic, blah, 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 blah. You had the guidelines already there, Alec. You didn't follow the safety guidelines. Your crew didn't follow them. You were being cheap. Your crew was tired. You weren't hiring multiple people to be in that department. That is all on you, my man. So the fact that he still doesn't understand this is troubling. It's troubling, and it's why he shouldn't be talking right now. His tweet was one thing, and I think it was impressive that he did that. However, now just be yapping to the press, to the paparazzi. What are you doing? What are you doing? This was completely preventable, Alec. And yeah, now because of idiots like your crew, yeah, we need even harsher methods, because there are complete morons who aren't going to like check it before you use it, which is what they should have done in the first place. And you should. And I've talked to multiple ADs. That is, an AD would never handle one of these things. Sorry for the leaf blower coming in my garage. A proper AD worth their weight, which Alec, I'm sure, has worked with a lot of good ones. A proper AD would never grab one of those, ever. Just for their own liability's sake. That's not their job. It's not their department. You don't grab them. So the fact that he handed it to him and said it's cold, to me, is problematic, because it just shows Alec was being lax on the set and didn't know better, and he should have known better at this level. I'm sorry, he should have. He doesn't need to know about the kinds and the rounds. I'm not talking about the specifics of that, but he should know better from a set perspective of how to be safe. And did we do a safe? Can you unload that for me? Show me. It's common sense. But he didn't care about any of that.
That's not for me to decide. It's urgent. It's urgent that you understand I'm not an expert in this field. So whatever other people decide is the best way to go in terms of protecting people's safety on film sets, I'm all in favor of, and I will cooperate with that in any way that I can.
Do you have any further projects in the works at the moment, or is everything on hold?
No, that's irrelevant to what we're talking about.
Do you think production will start up again on
No, I doubt it.
Thank God, as they shouldn't. There was rumor that this Rust production would start again.
Anything else?
Why Vermont, Alex?
Because
That's a
we
person.
just
No,
do-
that's a
private.
person. That's private. Yeah, that's private. Anything else?
Okay.
So just do me a favor, you don't mind? My kids are in the car crying.
Because you guys are following
And
them
all I
and
want to
they
do, as a
know.
courtesy to you, I came to talk to you. I'm not allowed to comment on the investigation. I talk to the cops every day. I talk to them every day to find out.
They know where you are.
Look, you know, I'm
There it is. And then, of course, they stop recording because they realize that they're looking stupid. So there you go. Overall, I got to say, why are you talking, Alec? I understand. Look, I'm all about defending yourself. But in this instance, you've already pretty much acknowledged, you said your piece in Twitter. You said the piece in Twitter. I think it was a good piece. You got it out there. You're being cooperative. I hope it's not your fault. I hope it's not your fault. However, as they do their investigation and find out how much did you know on this set, well, then you're going to be more in trouble. So this idea that it was a well-oiled machine, oh, come on, billions of rounds go off without trouble. This was a, whatever. Of course, yeah. Dude, there are safety guidelines. How do you not know that all these years in Hollywood? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Hasn't he been Mission Impossible? Like, hasn't he done? Has he never had weapons before in movies? Like The Shadow? I feel like he had to have, throughout his career, been around movies that would have had live or just, pistols and stuff on sets. It floors me how ignorant and he's being, like as if he didn't know better. Oh yeah, just it's a complete accident. This wasn't an accident, guys. This could have all totally been prevented had they hired a professional on set who actually knew what they were doing. And that goes from the armorer and the AD. Now the armorer is trying to push the blame away. Rust Armor has no idea live rounds have found its way onto the set, lawyers say. Henry Gutierrez, Reed's attorney, blamed producers, which would be Alec, for unsafe set and said 24-year-old devastated over death of Elena Hutchins. Lawyers representing the crew member in charge of weapons on the film set where actor Alec Baldwin killed the cinematographer, blame the producers. She has no idea how they became present on set. She's devastated and completely beside herself over the events that have transpired. I do believe that. Inspired, according to the statement issued by her lawyer on late Thursday. Safety is Hannah's number one priority on set. Ultimately, this set would have never been compromised if live ammo were not introduced. Hannah has no idea where that came from. What? She fought for training, days to maintain weapons, and proper time to prepare for gunfire, but ultimately was overruled by production and her department. She was overruled by her department? Wasn't she in charge of the department? The whole production set became unsafe due to various factors, including lack of safety meetings. Why didn't you then quit? Why are you there then? This was not the fault of Hannah. Gutierrez and the assistant director Dave have come under scrutiny. Both have talked to investigators of the team of Santa Fe Sheriff. Reports have come wider outcry for professionals. Hall's also retained counsel. He handled the gun that mistakenly shouted that and mistakenly shouted out that it was cold. According to affidavits from the sheriff's department, according to additional affidavits released Wednesday, Halls admitted to investigators that he should have checked all the rounds in the gun before handling it to lead actor Baldwin, who was also a producer on the movie, but had not done so. So he's toast. He's toast. I mean, he just admitted fault. So, I mean, I don't believe he put him in there, though, is what the problem is. I do not believe he put him in there. So some random crew member decided, let's put a live one in there? Like, no, I'm sorry. This woman, I'm sorry, Hannah. You are responsible. And any armorer worth their weight, from every interview I've read, no one touches any weapon on set that hasn't gone through them. So for her to play like, guys, I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know how those found in it. I just put a bunch of weapons on a tray, and they were just sitting around while I was at the craft service table. I don't know. I have no idea how that could have happened. I mean, yeah, there were just a bunch of guns laying around. Anyone could have grabbed them and put something in them. Can you believe this? Can you believe this? Now, she may be right about the lack of safety training, all the stuff that she wanted. Okay, you might be right, girl, but you are responsible. Lock them up between sets, between shoots. What do you mean you had no idea? The fact that you had no idea only it fuels more that you clearly are responsible, because your job is to have an idea. Your job is to control them on a set so they are armed up. The armorer keeps them locked in a safe or some location that only you are responsible for. And if you don't have enough staff to do it safely, don't take the job. So I'm way, 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 way more angry at this woman and the gall of her to now try, and her lawyer's like, well, it's the producer's fault. No, it is your fault. Now, the producers may also be at fault, but you are absolutely at fault. The AD and the armorer should never, ever work on a set again. This isn't cancel culture. This is just complete ignorance and now, what's the word? Manslaughter. You guys, you're done. This has happened in multiple crews, and this is not a mistake that you just like, oh, cool. Jail time, fines, and you're going to be banned from movie sets in your role because you didn't handle it correctly. And you know what? I'm okay with that. That's the punishment here. Absolutely fits the crime. And neither of these people should ever be on sets again. They should never work on sets again. The AD, armorer are for sure blacklisted, as they should. As for jail, fines, that's up for the law and the judges to determine. But you two are banned from sets, never again. And this nonsense that you had no idea, I'm not having it. This is completely inappropriate, unacceptable, and it just makes me so infuriated with this woman that that's going to be her excuse. I at least got to applaud Baldwin for attempting to take some accountability and, being distraught, etc. Like, I'm frustrated with some of his ignorance on a set, but at the end of the day, it really wasn't his responsibility. That's why you hire an armorer. And the AD has admitted, I should have checked it. So if anything Alec's guilty of, it's trusting his crew. And so at the end of the day, if that's all it is, then I give Alec, I feel like Alec's going to be punished enough, and it is what it is. And I can't imagine, and as his wife says, she's not wrong. I mean, he very well could be, where was the article? PTSD is what they were saying before. Here it was. It's absolutely possible. And I don't wish that on anybody. It's going to be awful. It's going to be awful what he's have to go through. And it's going to be worse what the kid and the husband have to go through. But hopefully there can be some justice here too, and that we completely change the safety on sets to ever have this happen again. So anyway, as we get the more and more updates, we will know as this investigation continues, and we will cover that as we will. We're still waiting for that information to come in, as Alec and others are. But this armor, in the meanwhile, no, girl, not letting this happen on my platform. You had no idea. I'm sorry. It's your job to have an idea. Enough is enough. Get ready. You're in trouble, as you should be, because you don't take the job if you can't handle it. This is a lack of proper weapons shocked veterans. This was incompetence, inexperience, and I hate to say this, lack of caring about your job. If there's a bunch of ammo thrown together in a box, that's not how it's done. Inexcusable. Insane. But this is also true. Production is exploding. Corners are being cut even more, and budgets are being crunched down even more. Veteran independent film person, something's got to give. It's true. There are so many productions and streaming things happen right now. Nothing is being as safe. It's not okay. And I hope this really wakes up. Dozens have died of grieving injured on movie sets because of irresponsibility, ignoring safety protocols, improper leadership, and a set of culture of mindless rushing, James Gunn said. He's right. This tragedy was an apparent accident, he wrote, but it was also a predictable outcome of the incentive structure within the modern film industry. So, property master on Jurassic Park. Again, this is a massive problem that's going to be facing and that's where Alec Baldwin's in trouble, because Alec Baldwin was a producer on this, and he can play dumb only once, but you're now the scapegoat for. And Hollywood's going to take aim, but they're going to try. I imagine they're going to try and protect him too, so no one else gets the heat. But a lot needs to be learned here, because this was not an accident. And again, how dare she have no idea? Like, yeah, exactly. You had no idea because you had no idea what you were doing, and you deserve jail time, a fine, and to never work in this industry again. I don't feel bad about it at all. It is your responsibility, and the AD is now equally responsible because he should have never picked that thing up in the first place, and that's on him. Again, it's the industry's problem, and that's where I do think we need to find out which producers, the production team, the UPMs. There are other people in that production office beyond just the producer of Alec Baldwin, who's most likely name only, but there's a lot of other nitty-gritty producer level people, production people, that knew the complaints, knew of the previous safety problems, and did nothing to fix it. And it's on them too. So buck doesn't just stop with Alec. Again, it'll be TBD on whether Alec knew any of that stuff or was CC'd or aware. If he is, then he's screwed. If he wasn't, he may get a pass. and the rest of this production will most likely not. So there you go. We got lots more to go through, including this Moab. Speaking of cops that we're going to go through, what? Moab charged nearly $3,000 in fees for the Gabby Petito body cam footage. They are giving it back, but I wonder if they're only doing that because people found out and they got a lot of backlash. We're going to go through that, as well as the Black Eyed Peas Taboo. Man, he's not happy with this Gabby Petito coverage. And the metaverse, oh my gosh. We got to talk about this. Lots more, so don't go anywhere if you're watching live. Don't leave. We're not done. If you're watching on the replay, please hit subscribe or at least consider hitting join so you can always catch the full replays of our streams here. We're clipping this portion for the main event so you can replay it later. If you want to see the full show, become a member today. You can watch it in our members-only playlist on the main channel page here on YouTube.